Ah, thank you very much. Welcome. We would like to start by thanking Rabbi Knoll, the owner of the hotel, for making this room available to us. And by his generous donation, we get to meet here every Monday with a new subject. Now, the next 3 weeks are going to be the series regarding positive thinking. And after that, new subjects come up, and we do some great things in here. We'd like your cooperations in it. Just keep passing it on to your friends and family. And this is how you guys got here, right? You heard it from somebody who knows you, who was here and enjoyed it and passed it on. So pass on the good stuff. Second thing we would like to thank is Arachim. Arachim is actually the one sponsoring it, bringing me here. If we're already thanking Arachim, we should thank my wife for allowing me to be here. And not have to take care of the children at this time. It's vacation time. So the fact that she let me go, thanks to her as well. My name is Paz, and for the new faces, I'm not so much a speaker as I am a coach. I do private coaching, I do couples coaching, so this is going to be a group coaching session. This is not a lecture. If you think that something you heard sounds right to you, voice your opinion. If you disagree, I would like to hear it even more. If you have questions, let me know right away. This is not in a normal format of okay, I'll be giving a lecture for the next 45 minutes, keep your questions for the end. Not at all. If you have questions, hammer them in right away. So, by the way, that's a great idea. There's some room available over here. If you guys would like to grab a chair and bring it closer, it'll be great. Also, this is why we're sitting in this format and not having me stand over there to speak, because this is not so much a lecture. I will be bringing up subjects, I will be bringing information to the table, but your opinions are just as important. Okay? So we're going to be discussing positive thinking, as the flyer says, right? And we would like to discuss it in a slightly more scientific way, let's call it so. By the way, were we able to get the AC on?
No, unfortunately that's what we have now.
That's what we have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But maybe you can close the door there.
And we'll think that it's getting cooler and it might actually affect us. Okay, so let's think about it. Everybody heard of the movie or the book, The Secret?
Yeah.
Now, for a Jewish scholar, the book The Secret, we discovered a new secret. It's called Thinking Positive, and your thoughts can influence reality. It's like coming to somebody from this generation and saying, hey, we discovered something magnificent. What is it? Some device, it's got buttons, and you can talk to your friends that are far away. It's called a cellular phone. Okay? Anybody who's studied anything about Judaism knows that positive thinking or thought creating reality is very old news by us. Okay? Positive thinking started, anybody knows when? World's creation. Okay? When God created the universe and people started thinking, first Adam, he thought negative things are going to happen. That's exactly what happened. When they thought positive things are going to happen, that's exactly what happened. Thought came first, reality came later. So it's not really news. Positive thinking is not news. What's new is the fact that science took it 3,000 and so years, took time to actually catch up with positive thinking and realize the scientific background to the fact that it happens. Now, they can't really explain how it happened, but they know that it happens. Let me give you guys an example. Who can tell me the first benefit of thinking positive? You're all alone on a deserted island, but you're thinking positive. What effect does it have on you?
Feel good.
It calms you.
There we go. I'm sorry?
Feel good.
Somebody said hope?
Yeah.
I said.
Nachon? Hope. Hope, feeling good. Right? Is this feeling good an illusion? or does it become a reality? Well, when you think positive, something very interesting happens. There's a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol.
Cortisol.
Okay, everybody knows what cortisol is? No, neither do I. But it seems to be a hormone running through our veins when we think negative. Do you know what excess amounts of cortisol in your blood system does? It weakens your immune system. So when a person becomes stressed, thinking about negative things, okay? He's sitting in a hospital thinking, I'm gonna get sick. This is only gonna get worse. This is horrible. He thinks negative things. His body releases excess amounts of cortisol. This excess, thank you very much, Marab. My favorite sister-in-law is actually helping us out. Appreciate it. Thank you. This excess amounts of cortisol in our blood weakens our immune system, and guess what happens next? We get sick. A lot of people can trace back the point of getting even a flu to a moment when they got really upset or got bad news. Okay? Shortly after that, throat starts hurting, head starts hurting, back starts hurting, right? The immune system weakens. Okay? Amen, amen. Once the immune system weakens, then the bad things do happen. There's a funny thing about a guy walks up to a rabbi and says, Rabbi, I'm in deep trouble. He says, what happened? He says, it's Shabbat, and the electricity went out, and I'm afraid all the food is going to rot in my refrigerator, right, in this horrible heat. And the rabbi tells him, look, just keep the refrigerator door closed, everything will be just fine. And he goes home, and every 5 minutes he's all, did it go bad? No? I'm almost sure it went bad. Did it go bad? Tells his wife, do me a favor, check the fridge. The food went bad. At the end of the Shabbat, he comes to the rabbi, he goes, you see, Rabbi, I told you, I was right, the food went bad. Okay? We make our realities happen. See there? Now, this was a simple example. This was an example how you physically make your realities happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be this direct, like we saw with our health system. When a person thinks negatively, they release cortisol into their body in excess amounts, and eventually they get sick, so that's in a 2 or 3 step process. So as we can see, it's not that direct. There are even further steps that go. For example, if a person thinks negative, guess what their body language projects? What is it their body language projects? Negativity. Anybody heard of this thing called, let me read it properly, the Pygmalion effect? Anybody heard of it?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is how it's called in psychology.
Nachon, self-fulfilling prophecy. There was an experiment made. They did a very, very simple experiment. Okay, there was an experiment made where they took average students, right? They tested them out, made sure these are just average students. Stuck them in new classes, new schools where nobody knew them. And they told the teachers, look, the students we're bringing in are actually brilliant students, right? They've got really high IQs. And we're bringing them in order to raise the level of the school. So we don't want this to be public knowledge, but just so you'll know, these new kids, they're really smart. Guess what happens to these kids' grades by the end of the year?
They were excellent.
They all shut up. Yeah, thinking positive, huh? There you go. All the grades shut up. Because when we think positive, we project positive, and the person receiving it replies it right back to us, and usually magnified. And it also happens with negative things. Okay? So if we're thinking in a positive sense, okay, let's say your kids are the most annoying brats you've ever seen. However, you keep thinking to yourself, they're wonderful, they're smart, they're cute, they're adorable, okay? They're gonna absorb that, and shoot right back at you what you were projecting. Now, we communicate in 5 main venues, correct? Anybody can count them for me. Speech. When you say speech, are you referring to the actual words?
Actual speech, right.
The actual text, right?
Verbal communication.
Verbal communication, the actual text coming out.
The words. The words and
The
the
words.
tone.
The words. Oh, the
And the
tone,
tone, the way you say
is a
something.
whole second thing, right? Which is what we're missing, by the way, with digital communications. When you do digital communications, you're actually taking away the feelings, the emotion, the tone, the love, the kindness, everything out of speech. So as a general rule for my newlyweds, my advice is do not communicate either via text or, if possible, via phone. Keep your communications to face. That's how people actually connect. All this yada yada, Facebook, text, messaging, phone, email junk does not bring people closer. It brings them closer to the computer monitor, not to each other. Okay? In reality, it does not bring people closer to each other. It's basically an impossibility. You don't get any of this absorbing and returning because it only communicates on a textual level. You need to guess. It's your imagination that fills in the tone and the emotions, right? So when the person says LOL, you're thinking to yourself, oh, he's actually laughing out loud, where in reality he's not even laughing. He's LOLing so that you can feel good about yourself. So back to our original scheme. First, we've got text. Second, what do we have? The tone, the way we say, the volume we speak in. Okay? Then we've got simple, good old body language. You guys know the joke about the Italian, right? That was asked, how do you get to Main Street? And he was holding a couple of watermelons. So here, hold this and hold this one. I have no idea. Without body, Italians are. I think French are very similar as well, right? You need the hands to talk, which is excellent. The next is our facial expressions. Our facial expressions are different than our body language, and they're our biggest giveaway. It is near impossible to fake facial expressions.
What do you mean by facial expression?
Means that 0.5 millimeter that your lip goes up in the corner, how your eyes slightly twitch, okay? How your forehead crumbles. That is near impossible to fake, okay? That's what makes a good poker player a good poker player. All he has to do is paralyze his facial muscles, okay? Then you can read him. The final thing is your eyes. Your eyes are a big giveaway, okay? It's not a lie that when you say you look at somebody's eye, you're looking actually in his soul. You can see things about his truth and what he believes and what he thinks through his eyes and any other part. You know, there are pupils dilate against our wishes. And I'm not just talking about exposure to light. I'm talking about thought. In fear, they shrink up. In pleasure, they dilate. If I talk to you about your last vacation, before you open your mouth to answer me, I can see by your pupils how your vacation went. Okay? Now, it takes some training, but that's how it's done. So we communicate this way. Even if we don't say the textual words, but we say, hi, John, and we think of John as a great person, he will read that off of us in a split of a second before we even tell him what we think. He absorbs it, he feels this way about himself, and then he replies. So this is the basic science of positive thinking. Positive thinking not only works with other people, but it also works with ourselves. The Gemara, everybody knows what the Gemara is? The Gemara are holy scriptures that were written not that long ago, about 1600 years ago. And they were written shortly after the second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, that was what was given up to that point as the oral law. All the secrets of the universe are all hidden in there. They're all coded, so not everybody has access to the information, but everybody is welcome to it. So everybody is welcome to come and study it. And all that coded information, or at least a big part of it, was written in the Gemara. The Gemara comes and teaches us that 90% of people do not die when they're supposed to die. Can anybody tell me why do they die? From Ain Hara. Now, that knowledge makes a great deal of people run out and look for some kind of mystical Ain Hara protection, aluminum forehead helmet thingsy to protect you from Ain Hara.
But only if they believe it.
I'm sorry?
But only if they believe it. In the Gemara, if they don't believe it, that's any.
Yes, but it's not as straightforward as it sounds. As we said, everything is coded in there. What does Ain Hara mean in layman's words? Thinking in a negative way. Jealousy. Good old simple jealousy. Why does he have it and I don't have it? Who says he deserves it? Thinking bad, thinking in negative terms. When you think of negative terms, the Gemara says it brings to an early death. Reality, a lot of people who had long lives, or coincidentally also healthy lives, were found to be people who are never jealous. Very rarely do they get angry. I recently met somebody who does not look his age at all. So, running through the statistics, I had to ask. So I told him, look, how's life? He said, oh, great. How's business? It's all right. Marriage, good. Kids, wonderful. Now let me ask you a question. Is this person disillusional? Is he just simply good or lucky? Did he win the lottery? How exactly is it running here? Where exactly are the points? I mean, is he realistic?
No.
He's not realistic,
No.
right? So it's an illusion.
He doesn't have to be open if he doesn't know you, does he?
No, he's open. Oh, believe me, he's open. Yeah, most people who come, they're a lot more open than I ask. Yeah, it seems to be some kind of a trend, yeah. Once people sit there in the chair in front of me, all the gates open and everything flows out.
It's one of your students.
Let's assume that he's very open and he's honest with me and with himself. All he has is just a positive look at things, which means the cup, the classic cup, half full, half empty.
Yeah.
Well, in reality, it's not half full and it's not half empty. You just got some water in it. You have to decide what to look at. Okay?
Yeah.
So the reality does not change between positive and negative people. When a person is happy, when they're thinking that things are good, their reality is not any different than a person sitting next to them with the same physical situation. The only difference is, and this is where the secret lies, how do they look at it? That's it. That's where it starts, that's where it ends. It's only how you look at it. It's got nothing to do with the reality. And I'll give you some examples. Is money good or bad?
Good. Very good.
Money is good.
Very good.
Very good.
Of course.
Okay. You guys know that 54% of lottery winners within a year are in more debt than they were before they won the lottery, right? This is just Czech statistics. So how is money good? They lost. If they had 10,000 shekels in the bank and they won the lottery and you come back to them in a year, they have 4,000 shekels in the bank. So is money good or bad?
Well, they were not wise out
Depends
to
what
use
they
food,
do.
so-
It depends on for who. It depends on how you use it. It depends on how you look at it. Right? Okay? So, anything that you have in life, is marriage good or bad? Oh.
Depends on what year.
What year, right?
And if you choose the right partner,
If you choose the right partner. No, you actually can't say that. You were in my previous lecture. You know it's got nothing to do with whom you marry. It's got to do with how hard you work within the marriage.
yeah.
Okay? That's one of the myths about marriage. People think that a successful marriage is a matter of luck, or who you marry, or how much money you have within your marriage. Actually, in reality, a successful marriage is not a factor of either one of these. A successful marriage is the sole result of how hard you work and how accurate your information is as to what to work on within the marriage. In other words, if you know what you need to do and you do it, a successful marriage is guaranteed.
Even if you don't have a working partner?
I'm sorry?
Even if you don't have a partner to work with?
Yes. Yes.
If
The rule.
partner is not interested.
Yeah. The rule actually applies within a Jewish, let's call it a Jewish kosher wedding. Okay? So we gave a whole lecture about it. That might be found on YouTube. I think we uploaded it. Regarding relationships, and yeah, we explained that when two people are married, then they actually get tied in on all three levels. They get tied in on a physical level, so any changes that happen to me physically affects my partner. If I lose an arm, it affects my partner. If I gain weight, it affects my partner. If I get in shape and I look great, affects my partner. Emotionally, personally, thank you. Emotionally and personally it affects. Okay? My mood, my thoughts, my words affect my partner, even if she's not in the room. And on a spiritual level, that's where the kosher Jewish wedding happens. On a spiritual level, we're bind. Now,
Can you just clarify so it's not true that you need two to tango? Like the guy can have an affair and be in love with another woman, and it's just how much I work?
and you can affect him, yes.
Sure, I can affect him, but he has no interest whatsoever in being with me.
You can make it happen. Yeah. Oh, as I said, two elements you need in the equation. A, the correct knowledge as to what it is one needs to know and do within a marriage. The second one is to actually do it. And believe me, the most difficult thing in the world to create is what? A successful marriage. It's more difficult than raising children, more difficult than becoming a gazillionaire, more difficult than building a society is to come to peace with your partner. The most difficult thing in the world. But if you do it, there's no greater satisfaction. Back to positive thinking. Okay? So if we think positive, we create positive things. The first thing we do is we create positive things within our body. We release hormones that make our immune system strong, that give us energy more than any Red Bull, more than any double, triple espresso. If you think positive, it gets us healthier than being vegan. Even more healthy than being vegan is just thinking positive. A lot of people, vegan are people who took vegetarianism to a whole new level.
That's not healthy.
I didn't say this, but I'm saying, that's the general thing. We're going to become vegetarian, we're going to get organic food, and I think the gematria of organic food is it's got worms in it. But something in that vicinity. But when you try to, I'm going to exercise every day and I'm going to stay away from smoke and from radiation and all that good stuff. What gets you much healthier than all of that is what you think. What you think, because the body has the magnificent power to heal itself from almost anything. And when I say almost, I mean everything. Okay? The body can heal itself from almost anything. And alternative medicine is built on that. Alternative medicine is designed around the fact that your body can heal almost anything within itself. So there, it won't grow a new eye, but whatever is in there, it can usually heal. What's the first step into A, staying healthy, B, keeping diseases and problems out, and C, healing yourselves? Come on, let me hear it. There we go. Positive thinking. Okay? Anybody read 1984? The book?
Yeah.
Right? Nerds. Only nerds read that book. I read it too. I'm a nerd too. But, it's a book for nerds. It was written before 1984. It was a fictional book.
George Orwell.
That's right. A very smart book, by the way. That guy was sharp. He hit a few nails on the head. He's right about a very few things in there. And what he says is that if you can affect the way people think, you can control them. So what did they do? The government, it changed the vocabulary. Certain words were against the law to pronounce, to say, to talk, or to say, to mention or to write down. Those words were negative words. They wanted to take out of the system suicide, depression, illnesses. So they said, that's it. We're not going to talk about bad. We're going to talk about not good. We're not going to talk about negative things. They're going to be not positive things. Okay? Does that system, as bizarre as it may sound, work? That's right, it does.
Rabbi Nachman.
I'm sorry?
Rabbi Nachman.
That's right, we're getting there. That's right, I said, for Jews, it's really difficult to surprise them with news. It's like anything, yeah, we heard about it, we saw it, we read about it thousands of years ago. That's right. Rabbi Nachman from Breslov said that wherever your thoughts are, that's where you are. You could be sitting here, but you're only here physically. You're actually in, I don't know, on a beach in Cancun or in some other place. You're married with 12 children. Okay? Wherever you are is where your thoughts are. If your thoughts are in a positive place, you're in a positive place. If your thoughts are in a healthy place, you're in a healthy place. And let me add, if your thoughts are in a rich, financially well place, that's where you are or soon to be. So there, our thoughts do create reality. And they create it on the most physical level. We make very interesting things happen. However, there seems to be a big attraction to negativity, right? Positive does not sell. Positive doesn't seem to sell. It's not exciting.
It's easier. It's easier.
What's easier?
Just think negative.
That's right. We were injected negative right when we were born. And we'll get to it. And we snowballed from there until today. Let me ask you a question. If the news was positive, how many people would watch the news?
0.
The answer is 0. And how do we know that?
Experience.
No, a few years ago, they tried to get a paper just positive and good stuff.
None sold.
None sold.
That's right. They didn't even have to print the newspaper. And I'll tell you why. You guys think that the purpose of news, which, by the way, in Israel, it seems to be borderline addiction. We have to know. It's because everybody is certain they're going to be the next prime minister, so they have to be up to date on everything. So, especially cab drivers.
Israel, every hour the news is different. Abroad, for a day or two, it's the same news.
That's right. CNN has to work a lot harder abroad than it does in Israel. I agree. So, the news is actually a TV show. And like any other TV show, their purpose is not to inform you. Their purpose is what?
To get ratings.
Entertainment.
No, not entertainment. I don't care about your entertainment. You could be all depressed sitting in the hospital popping pills like candy. They don't care. What their point is to get you glued to the screen so they can sell advertisements. Okay? In other words, say it out loud.
To get ratings.
Ratings. So they find out what it is people want to see. And guess what they found out that people want to see?
Negative things.
What you guys see on the screen. Only negative things. Our innate nature draws us to negativity. We're born negative, we snowball from there.
What
Now-
is how we're born negative? Why is that?
And I'm just about to clear that up.
Like,
South African or Australian?
Australian.
Excellent. Love to have you guys. Very positive
Are
guys.
you South African?
I'm sorry?
Are you from Africa?
No, I'm just the color. Everything else is. I was born in Iran. I was born in Iran, originally in Tehran, as Iranian as it gets, being a Jew.
Where did you live?
But I grew up in Israel and abroad a bit. No, in the United States as well.
Oh.
Yeah, so we've got a bit of everywhere. But I love the Australian guys. They're very positive. Yeah, they're cool. They're laid back, easygoing.
Yeah.
A storm can hit by, and they're like, all right, well, it's gonna happen. Very easygoing guys. I love those guys. Okay, you want positive thinking? Stick with Australians. All right. Ratings is what draws us to the TV, and TV thinks we're negative, and it feeds us negativity, and it seems to work because the news is all-time highest ratings that there is, and all the news are negative. Why do I say that we start off negative and we go from there? When a person is born, he does not have a mind quite yet. He's a baby. What he has is instincts. Okay? Our strongest instincts are positive or negative? Anybody knows? Negative. Negative. Survival is a negative instinct. Survival is not a positive instinct. Survival is fear, panic, running, screaming, crying, basically everything a baby does. Now, if we monitor a baby for 24 hours a day, what's going to be, any parents in the room? Excellent. So parents, help me out here. If we monitor a baby 24 hours in a day, we just put a camera over his head and we watch him 24 hours a day. What's the ratio of crying to laughing or screaming to smiling? What do you say? It's even?
No.
Close to even? 50-40?
90-10.
90-10. That's right. Screaming, crying, yelling,
Because
that's...
I don't know how to communicate.
He knows how to communicate crying. He knows how to communicate when he's sad.
You refer to a negative thing, but he doesn't know how to speak.
Why? For a baby, it's just the same. You see that he knows how to communicate positiveness because he does smile.
You see, this is a negative thing.
What do you mean you see it as a negative
אתה
thing?
רואה את הבכי כדבר
You
שלילי.
see that's what he's communicating. I'm not feeling good. That's what crying means. I'm feeling bad. Baby does not cry when he's happy. There's no tears of joy on a baby. Okay? Do not tell your husband, it's okay, go back to sleep. He's just happy he's here. Don't worry about it. There are no tears of joy on a baby. Okay,
The
so
survival instinct is negative. That's what you said.
yes, that's right.
Wanting to survive is negative.
Yeah. It's because we are not
How
wanting
can it
to
be
survive.
negative?
Wanting to survive is a beautiful thing. Our survival instinct works in a negative manner.
Why?
It works via fear, aggression, violence. Our survival instincts do not make us smile and be pleasant and compliment. Okay? When you're being attacked, you don't go, oh, nice hairdo. Okay? Correct? Either
No,
verbally
it's not
or
correct.
physically.
It's not correct at all.
Okay. So
In that child, maybe it's social survival.
I'm sorry?
Maybe it's social survival. We want to be nice with each other.
That's something that's cognitive. That's not an instinct. That's something cognitive we develop with time. Okay? Now, you can research it. Come back to us next week. Tell
I'll
me
bring
what the
some
research
papers.
brought up. There you go. So we're born already negative. Okay? We're very quick on the negative feelings. We express them really easily. We don't mind. But to get a smile out of us as a baby, go ahead and try. I know it takes a lot of hours and mutzi putzi and kutzi mutzi. Come on, smile for the camera. Okay? Children photographers know it. It's the most difficult job is to get that baby to smile for a second. To get him to take a photo of a baby crying, not a problem. Just walk into any kindergarten, start shooting away. Okay? We start off negative. Now, if that's not enough, we get negativity injections throughout the day. How is that happen? Be careful, don't touch that. Or, it's gonna rain today. Or even things that are not being said to us. Anybody knows what the ratio of positive words and comments in a home, average home, to negative ones are?
1 to 4. 1 to 5.
That's positive thinking. Okay? So in other words, what they did is they went into people's homes and they said, look, we're never going to give this information away, like what you guys actually said, but here's $50, we're going to record the next few days in your homes. Just audio. So they record people's homes all over the place, different places. I mean, I'm talking about rich, poor, married, single, everybody, right? And then they pay another group of people to sit there with 2 clickers. You know what clickers are? Things that count. You press this and it goes 1, you press this and it goes 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And they say, okay, every time you hear something positive, click the positive clicker. Anytime you hear the negative, click the negative clicker. Very simple research. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to put it together. Guess what the ratio was? For every positive thing somebody said in the house, there was an avalanche of 20 negative things being said immediately afterwards. So if your wife walks out of the room and she looks nice and you say, sweetie, you look so beautiful, what a nice dress, I love the way your hair looks, that's 3 positive things. On average, there are 60 negative things that are going to be shooting our way soon. Okay? That's just rough statistics.
If they
Our
done-
kids,
Sorry, if they've done studies where they've gone into homes and you're only allowed to use positive thinking on the baby as it's growing up over 1 or 2 or 3 years. Have they done studies on that? But it's-
I haven't heard.
Okay.
But that's your mission for next week.
Right. Okay.
Join the team. As I said, this is a group thing, right? So we're all going to evolve together. So they went out, they did this research, and they found out that our babies are sponges. They absorb everything around us, even if it's not being said or told to them, even if it's in the next room, even if it's just the tones of our voices. And the tone of our voices, by the way, changes between positive and negative. And they absorb it, and then they become what it is we fed them. Because you are what you eat. Right? In your thoughts as well. So we were trained to think negative. Okay? Any good story has to have something negative in it to be good. A story cannot start with a boy grew up in a wonderful home. A girl grew up down the street in a beautiful family. They met, had kids, and lived happily ever after. Well, it's not really a story that's going to sell. Not even for the kids. Okay? So we absorb negativity and we project negativity, and then we wonder, why do bad things always happen to me? Which is funny, because most of that stuff we create ourselves. When I realized that, usually, late at night, around 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, when these brilliant thoughts come to you, I realized all of a sudden that, you know what? What people are running around thinking and doing most of the time in their communication with God is not really true. Why? Because most of our communication with God is called complaints. And what do we complain? God, why do you do this to me? Or why don't you do this, and that for me, right? Most people, when they go to the synagogue or to the Wailing Wall, it's kind of like going to the ATM. You know, I would like this, and that, and there's my passcode, and there's my address, please send, FedEx. Okay? It's a bunch of requests, right? I need this and I need that, and why don't I have this, and please make, you know, this and that happen. And I went to my rabbi, called him up. It's excellent. I've got a rabbi who's up late. So I get to call him up at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, Rabbi, I just realized something. And he said, okay, what's your big realization? I said that most of what it is we're complaining that God did or did not do to us and for us, it's actually the results of what we do to ourselves. And like most Torah scholars is all, yeah, and where's the news in that? And then, for me it's news, you know, I'm new in the business. Yes.
בדרך כלל זה גם משהו שאם הזמן שאתה גדל הוא נתקש. זאת אומרת, אתה יכול לגרום לילד או בחינוך עצמו איך להיות חיובי.
Do you understand a word? English.
I'm
No.
sorry.
It is an acquired habit. One can train your kid to be positive or negative.
Yeah, of
Absolutely.
course. So usually when we look to God and say, you can cry to God, ask for God.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we forget to say, well, thank you, God, what I have.
That's
like
right.
Looking at the positive, the full cup. Full cup.
That's right. Half of the half full. Well,
Good job.
exactly.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Thank you. Looking at the cup as being half full. That's right. As a matter of fact, if we mention Rabbi Nachman from Breslev, one of the things that he teaches religiously is that you should communicate everything to God. Do not start off assuming, hey, God knows everything, what's the need to tell him? But tell him everything. Start by thanking for what you have. And that means even the negative, which means if you have a headache, before you run off to Tylenol, Acamol, or any other poison, first stop and thank God for the headache. Thank you, God, for the headache. Now, if you could also please take it away, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You can
Even if you don't think it?
every day you can take what's your big day, כאילו מה הדבר הטוב שקרה לי, translate, מה הדבר הטוב שקרה לי היום, ומה הדבר הכי פחות טוב, כאילו להתחיל עם החיובי, ולאט לאט זה...
That's right. You start from the positive, you only then flow over to the negative. Okay? It puts the negative in a whole new light. It gives a chance to the negative to turn into a positive. Okay? So if you surround something by both sides with positive, it will transform.
Can you give us
You
an
know-
example of that?
Yes. God, thank you for giving me children. If you could please put them to sleep so that I can get some sleep. I thank you for all the sleep nights you have given me so far. See you tomorrow morning, bright and shine.
So what's the negative there?
Put them to sleep. I need sleep. You see, Australians, they don't see negative. They've got it genetically built in. It's running in their blood. I love these guys. Okay. So, can we change our mindset? It's kind of like, you know, being inside a swamp and saying, can I get clean? Okay, drowning in a swamp and wanting to be clean, it's difficult. Is it possible at all? Is it possible to think positive? Is it possible to train our minds to go into a positive place rather than a negative place whenever we're in doubt?
Yes.
Okay, is it possible? If we call up somebody we love and they don't answer, where does our mind go immediately? Into a positive place or a negative place? Negative place. Every single time. It's ridiculous. Either it could be negative about me, negative about them. Maybe they don't love me. Maybe they're just screening me out. Maybe they're drowning in a pool. Maybe they got electrocuted. Maybe they went swimming with a toaster. Maybe they get run over by a truck. Okay? And only then do we think maybe they're just not next to their phones right now. Okay? Now, in reality, how often do people who we call and do not answer get drowned? And how often they just run out of a battery? Run out of battery a lot more often, right? Okay? Nachon? But we think negative. Is it possible to train our minds to think positive? Now, that is an essential question, because without being able to think positive, your children's educating your children is going to be extremely difficult. If you think negative about your kids, guess what your kids are going to be doing? What I did when I was a kid, which is all bad things. Yes?
Is there ever an appropriate time where you should think negative? Like tragedy happens or
Yes.
something like that?
Tisha B'Av, 7 days of mourning. 7 days of mourning, not really. Tisha B'Av.
What about you?
That's it.
No, we
It
don't
was
think
not a bad
positive.
day.
Absolutely not. Actually, it's a positive day. It's a holiday for us.
What about
We dress white and we're all happy, and it's a Yom Tov. It's a Yom Tov. We fast as a means to expressing God our regret for the negative things we did. And we take it back and we change it, but we're only thinking about the positive things we're going to do, how we're going to change to positive within the next year, our positive intentions, what we're going to take upon ourselves to make our next year much better, more successful, more spiritual.
But I think this comes one parallel to the other.
Mhm. What do you
The
mean?
positive and the negative.
Okay,
One comes parallel to the other.
נכון.
For instance, I say, kabdeu v'chashdeu.
Do we say kabdeu v'chashdeu to everyone? Should I suspect my wife?
Who knows?
I do. I do, and I don't. I do as I say that we don't, and we don't. Kabdeu v'chashdeu is told about certain people under certain circumstances. It doesn't say about everybody.
No, I didn't say about everybody, sorry.
Oh, so it doesn't run parallel.
No.
It doesn't run
No,
parallel.
I didn't mean about
We are
that
positive.
example you said.
Mhm.
But in general.
In general, my friends, my neighbors, why should I
Yeah.
think negative about them? Adrabah, there is a Ma'amar Chazal that says, "Achoshed b'ksherim," to suspect good people of evil doing is actually an averah. It's a sin. It's a sin to suspect a good person of bad doings. If I know somebody, and I know he's a good person, he's a straight person, he's a nice person, okay? And I don't
So
know.
there is a
And I
contradiction.
pass by and I see him doing something and I suspect him of doing evil things, that's actually an averah.
All right.
That's actually a sin. Now, so what it is that we want to change, we want to tilt our weight from our negative instinct into what? Positive thing, instinct, into our first thought of being negative, our first thought to be positive. Okay?
Yeah, but,
Is it possible?
but there is a bit of a dilemma here.
Okay, what's the dilemma?
That it's like, I mean, there are many sayings in the Talmud, in the Torah, in the Gemara, like one contradicts the other,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely, right off the bat.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So, that's what I'm saying. So you have to follow your instincts to know.
Our instincts are negative. I don't want to follow my instincts. I want to create new
Okay,
instincts.
call it your hunch.
My hunch is negative. I want to follow positive instincts. As we said, we were trained negative. We want to change that to become positive. How do we do that? First of all, is it possible? The answer is yes. How do we know it's possible? Because it's been done. Now, the next question I need to ask is, maybe it was done But can it be done to everyone?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
But some people will be easier than others.
That's right. Some people have a tendency to be more positive. Some people have a tendency to be more negative. Even the ones with a negative tendency, if they work harder, can they get there? Yes. Some people have better physique. So if they go to the gym, they just play around with the weights a little bit, and boom, they look good, they've got muscles, and they're all great. Okay? Some people have to exercise day and night and take, protein powders and all kinds of other mumbo jumbo stuff just to get a little bump on their head. Right? But does that mean they should not exercise? Well, they should be either, very smart and rich, and then they won't need to exercise. But in reality, they should. You just have to exercise harder. Same thing here. Some people have a more natural tendency for negativity and some more for positivity. All it means is that you work a little harder, that's all. But everyone can change the way their mind works. And by doing that, amazing things will start happening to you. Now, before we break into a full-on question-answer session regarding any subject, which by the way we give about 10-20 minutes at the end of every lecture for general question-answer session regarding any subject in Judaism or things that you guys were curious about. But right before that, I want to give you guys some assignments so that you can experience it for yourselves. Okay? First assignment is take your day and start logging the good things that happened to you today and the bad things that happened to you today. At the end of your day, that's a 5-minute assignment. Just log down a list, 1, 2, 3, 4 positive things that happened to me, 1, 2, 3, 4 negative things that happened to me, okay? Assignment number 2, shut out negativity for 1 week. It borders on impossible, but let's start. First of all, kill CNN, Ynet, and other, few letter words that are pouring negativity into you to whatever degree you can. If a person works in the stock market and they have to be informed, at least kill the news that have nothing to do with you. Stay there? Just block it out for 1 week. 1 week, no Ynet, no news, no TV, no radio as far as the news go, right? Now, that's not going to be enough. Your friends, neighbors, co-workers, fellow students, everybody around you are going to insist that you know all the negativity that's happening in the world. So the hard work is not shutting out the internet and the TV. The hard work is shutting people up. Good luck with that one. Okay? It took me quite a while to do, by the way. Next thing you should do is, this is going to be fun. Every person you meet or talk to during the day, okay, make sure you give them at least 1 compliment. That's it. Okay? Now that seems to be the easiest assignment to do, right?
Yep.
Ha ha ha. We'll see next week. Yes? Compliment is a Lashon Hara.
What's that?
Okay.
It can turn into.
Are you jealous because you don't have stress?
That's where you go Kanai Nahora or Inora. They can say it.
It's like you're saying Lashon Hara. Like you are complimenting, but you really have something.
You're tending to compliment, but it can turn into a Lashon Hara.
You mean
Nachman says to find, even in the Lasha, you can find the good point. Everyone has, you a little bit.
But to say it?
It-
But to express?
yeah, you should express a positive thing that you find within a person to him. You should give people compliments. That's your assignment. That's exactly your assignment.
Would,
Yes.
would actually smiling at everyone you see be offering them a compliment?
Correct, but it's I'm trying not to give you guys assignments that are going to bring you back to me all desperate saying I cannot do this, you know. Yeah, it's true. I would expect an assignment like that from an Australian. You guys do it naturally to everyone, and for you it is an excellent assignment
So what's
to smile at everyone.
okay?
Okay, give people a simple smile. By the way, you guys know that when you smile at a person, you're actually doing a mitzvah. Okay? There is a mitzvah to smile at people.
They don't
Show
smile
them-
often in Israel.
I'm sorry?
They don't smile a lot in Israel.
Now that's Lashon Hara. That I did not accept.
Compared to where the States.
you come hang around where I do. I'll show you a lot of smiles.
But if you smile at someone, you more often than not get a smile back. Even if a person's in a grumpy mood, if you smile at them, they sort of look around and say, well, they're smiling at me, then you keep on smiling at them. No,
That's right, and they'll smile back at you.
gentle.
Okay? So simple, good old advice, just smile at anyone, give them a smile. Okay? The last example,
Maybe we're thinking the same thing.
the last assignment for this week, and this is an assignment that's going to run through all 3 weeks. It's a complex assignment, which is why I'm asking you to start it off now, is start paying attention and trying to log how negative things that happened to you turned into positive things. Okay? How losing your job was the greatest thing that happened to you.
Recent or in the past?
If you can do it in the past, that's great. If you can only do it recently, that's good enough as well. Okay? Think about it, focus on it. This is actually a workshop. Our goal is to get to a point where you look in the mirror and you see an upgraded, more advanced, more evolved version of yourself by the end of these 3 weeks. So basically what you're going to do is go home, look in the mirror, say goodbye, and get ready for a new version to come in. Okay? Now, this is for bonus points. This next one, I can't really call it an assignment. It's really for the hardcore people who just want to go at it and see results. And it goes something like this. All you have to do, once a day, stand in front of the mirror in an empty room. Okay, kick everybody out of the room. Stand in front of a mirror in an empty room, preferably not the bathroom, and tell yourself the following words exactly out loud. I love and accept myself just the way I am. Beseder? Now this is really for bonus points, and anybody who does this, I want to hear about it next week, because this one just, poof. If you think everything else is going to get you to evolve and grow, this is metamorphosis. This is just going to transform you all completely.
Even
3
if
times.
It's not something that I'm convinced of.
I am certain this is not something we are convinced of. We're going to say it till we believe it.
But just the way we are? Striving for improvement all the time?
That's got nothing to do with it. Right now, at this very moment, I love myself just the way I am. Does it mean that I don't strive for more? Of course I do. But in order to reach more, I first must, what?
Love myself.
Love myself the way I am. Because if you don't love yourself the way you are you working from a negative place or a positive place, striving for more?
Negative.
Negative place. And what do we want to work out of?
Positive way.
A positive place. You see, I love you guys. Okay.
Is this the reason
Excellent.
why we say this also in the Birkot HaShachar, when you say, Shasani Kiratzono?
That's one of them. That's right.
This
What?
like,
What do we say?
In Birkot HaShachar, when we wake up in the morning, we get up and start thanking God for everything we have, even the most simplest thing. Thank you for having ground under my feet.
מודה אני לפניך,
That's right, that's just the beginning.
מלך חי וקיים.
נכון. That's just the beginning. There's a lot on top of that. Thank you for being able to see. Thank you for being able to move. Thank you for being able to think. Okay? Some people say it and I don't know how they do. But nonetheless, they still thank God for being able to think. Okay? Okay, but thank you for being able to think. Thank you for a roof over my head. We think there's a whole list of thank yous. And acknowledging that it does not come because I deserve it. It comes because God loves me and gives it to me as a gift every day from scratch. We go to sleep at night putting our glasses aside, thinking that we're going to get up in the morning, be able to see, and use them again. Says who? You don't know. So when you get up and you open your eyes and you can see, we thank God for being able to see.
So,
That's just the basics.
so a cripple who says thank you for helping me walk in the morning, or a blind person who says thank you for helping me see.
Now, we don't thank Him just for us being able to walk and see. We thank Him for the ability to walk and see, because the blind person, he does get assisted by people who do see. So he thank God for letting him see so that he can help him. Say that? So, what we do is we get up positive right off the bat. That's the first thing out of our mouth. Thank you for giving me back life. Because at night, when we're asleep, we're almost dead. It's the equivalent of being dead. We can't move, we can't think, we can't talk, we're asleep, we're near dead. The major part of our soul leaves the body, comes back in the morning. We get up in the morning, the first thing out of a Jew's mouth is what?
Modani.
Modani, thank you. I'm positive, I'm thinking positive. Right? Next thing, we go to synagogue. We praise God for this wonderful universe He gave us. Sun, moon, light, rivers, oceans, birds. And after an hour of that, plus some requests, only then do we start off our day. Say that? So let's do it. Let's start getting ourselves to be healthier, wealthier. If we're single, married. If we're married, then good children and a good marriage. Okay? And if our children have children, then nachat from them. We can transform our lives. You guys are going to get little steps in making it happen. Is wanting it to happen enough, or do you actually have to take action? You have to take action. So if a person really, really, really wants to change his life, that's not enough?
No, he has to take action.
That's right. You have to take action. So let's start by doing it here. Now, if anybody has questions or comments about the assignments, feel free to contact me, phone or email. We are going to meet bright and shine next week, Monday, 8:30 sharp, hopefully next week. Here again. Hopefully we're either going to sit over there, because we're expecting a larger crowd next week. A lot of people are on vacation. They're going to come in next week, so we're going to either sit over there, or we're going to set up sitting places over there. So over there. Now, my request. The Gemara says that if you have something good, don't keep it to yourself. If you guys enjoy this lecture, and you think that other people can benefit from it, A, contact our Facebook administrator, Tzachi. Okay? He's on Facebook. He manages this all the good mumbo jumbo textual stuff, running back and forth.
Actually, we have a group.
How do you spell your name?
It's Isaac Cohen,
And
We spell your name there?
ISAAC and
I. S.
AAC
Double A.
and Cohen. And we have a Facebook group, Dvora Hotel TLV. That's the Facebook group.
Okay, so you guys can get there. You can both get a link to the YouTube lecture, and you can see announcements about future lectures as well. Yes. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
If you